Dexter Lawrence offside. And I've seen this before with an edge rusher who jumps too perfectly. That because he's ahead of everyone else on his team, but also moving as the ball is being snapped, he still looks like he's offside. The TV copy that I can see, it looks like as Lawrence falls forward, the ball's up off the ground into the snap. And it's not going to change anything. I'm just curious. I'm curious whether it was one of these situations where he got flagged because it looked like he was offside because he moved before everyone else, or did he just time it perfectly? But that's the problem. If you time it too perfectly, you are going to get flagged for being offside.
Yeah, Mike, I couldn't tell either last night watching it, but it did appear that he jumped offside. And now that you mention it, I'd like to see that too. But I do think the officials are going to err on the side of the jumper, or against the side of the jumper, obviously. And, I kept thinking about that last night. And not that I don't want my 10 or 11 guys, however many you're going to have on the line, trying to block that field goal. I don't want any of them to lay out, okay? But I also want to make absolutely sure that they do not move a muscle until the ball is off the ground on the way back to the holder, okay? And here's why. Because the officials, it's so obvious if somebody jumps. And, you've got to tell. I mean, Joe Judge, obviously a special teams guru with the Patriots. Everybody on that unit, everybody on that rush unit, and believe me, they'll hear about it 48 times now because it cost them a game. Everybody on that unit is going to say, even if you have to wait another split second, don't move. Because, Mike, whether he was offside or whether it was the perfect rush by him, it cost them the football game.
Yep. It was too close. If it was perfect, it was too close, and you have to know that, and the coaches know that. And in a moment like that, it's not like you need to say anything. It's obvious that you don't go early with the game on the line and a 48-yard field goal on a night when the kickers were perfect. But see how when he's leaning forward, yes, he's before everyone else. Yes, it looks like it's offside. Watch this. So see the ball? The ball's up as he's falling.
The ball's off the ground.
The ball's off the ground. Now, the guy who calls offside isn't going to see the ball off the ground. That's the problem. And I don't know who throws that flag, but you've got officials watching all of it. And the problem is, because he's there, boom, that looks like it's offside. Looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, walks like a duck. But watch this. See the ball? That's what has me intrigued, Peter. It's possible he was too perfect. And in a moment like that, you can't be too perfect. If you're too perfect, you're going to get flagged.
The weird thing about it is, if you look at it again, and you look at him like lunging across the line, hey, Mike, what good does that do in trying to block the field goal? He's lunging across the line.
Exactly.
Nothing. That does nothing. It does nothing. So I guess what the hope is on that play is that he is going to occupy the center and the left guard so that the right tackle next to him is going to be able to get maybe the ability to jump through that lane. Okay, now watch this, Mike. Watch. He comes off. So watch 98. 98, they're hoping that he is able to get through a gap, raise his hand, and bat the ball down. I guess that's it. Because, look, Lawrence did his job in that case if we're talking X and O's. He occupies two blockers on this. Because watch the left guard. The left guard who might be inclined to block 98 now has to spend some time at least concentrating on Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah, you can see him start toward 98, and then the head comes back to Lawrence because he realizes, oh, crap, that's where the dam's possibly breaking. Look, in that moment, 48 yards, you try to get a guy around the edge. I mean, you know what? They weren't even trying to set up a jumper or anything like that behind him, and that's a dangerous play too because if you accidentally
it's harder
put a
to
foot
do
on
now,
someone,
setting
you
up
get
a
flagged.
jumper.
Yep.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just trust that you just do it very basic, and you hope the guy misses because it's 48 yards and the game's on the line. And he did. That's the problem. He did. They didn't need to do any of that because the guy just missed the kick. And I was amazed how effective Dustin Hopkins and Graham Gano were last night. I mean, they were money. We're getting spoiled by these kickers that can just boom. That part of the drama, part of the fun of football is seeing that field goal just like barely be no good. We got a lot of good kicks last night, and Dustin Hopkins quickly had his shot at redemption when 48 became 43 yards.
You know,
Taylor
I'll tell you what,
Heineke,
Mike. Hey,
go ahead.
Mike. Graham Gano is saying to Justin Tucker, hey, you think you're the best guy? Not so fast. I am going to be in that discussion this year. Because, look, not only last night was Graham Gano kicking him from outer space, every one of them was an absolute perfect strike right down the middle of the plate. And you know, I just kept thinking to myself, the Giants are going to kick themselves in so many ways for losing this game. You know, there's a couple other ways that we really need to talk about. One is Kenny Golladay having 86 receiving yards after 2 games and being apparently totally healthy and not being the weapon he was signed to be, and then getting a little bit ticked off on the sidelines late in the game because of it. But I do think the one thing the Giants don't have to worry about is having a kicker now, so that when they have to settle for 3, it's basically automatic.
Yeah, we'll be talking about Kenny Golladay in a second. And every time I see someone bang one from 53, I remember back in the 70s when it was impressive to kick a 40-yard field goal. And then it was impressive to kick a 50-yard field goal. And now we just kind of shrug at 50-yarders because there are so many kickers who can kick them the distance and kick them accurately on a consistent basis.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.